Hi everyone. We've had a lot of questions lately on how we built our canopy, so today's episode is going to be all about that. We're going to tell you all about the process of taking the old truck bed off, building a new flatbed, the extra things we did underneath, and then how we built the canopy and why we built it the way we did. There we go. Let's get started. If during our video you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment with your question and we'll answer you as best as we can. So tell me, why did we remove the old box?
The old box was completely rusted out, very bad. The fenders were 50% consumed and pretty much composted. So we had a nice fiberglass canopy and a nice canopy rack, but the box was just done and it really looked bad. I hated it. But it happened that the rest of the truck was actually pretty much rust-free. So we decided to either find another box or build one. We tried to find one, but of course where we live, there's not much rakers. There was no choice.
So when we started our project last year, what was the first thing we did?
We decided to build a box for the truck by building first a flat deck and then aluminum box on top. That's why we just had enough. So we removed the old box and then we did quite some work on the chassis and whatever we could do while the box was away, because of course you have access to a lot of components of the truck, so it was a good time to do some renovation. So we did some fixing on the chassis a lot and getting rid of some rust, doing some welding, painting with the POR 15 special chassis paint the chassis. We took the gas tank off the truck too to rebuild the fuel pump. You can find the parts for the fuel pump, you don't have to change anything. So we changed just the electric motor of the fuel pump and cleaned up the tank very well, repainted the tank. We cleaned up the sanding unit as well and de-rust the skid plate of the tank. So what else? We also changed the brake lines, the steel brake lines and the flexible brake line in the back. Since the access was so easy, it was the perfect time to...
Why did we choose to go aluminum over steel?
For different reasons. We wanted that kind of box inspired by the Australian touring rigs. So we found them pretty nice and we really liked the kind of setup those guys and girls in Australia are building. So that's kind of what we try to do, which means a box with opening on the side and a little deck in the back. I really like that. So with a deck in the back, or no doors in the back anyway, then you can have your bicycles, dirt bike, hook up in the back without having issues with opening your canopy, unlike a regular, let's say, a fiberglass canopy. So the doors on the side, that's really what I wanted. We went with aluminum because it's light and it doesn't rust. And of course, when you own a Toyota, you kind of become allergic to rust. We didn't do the frame, the skeleton aluminum, because well, I don't weld aluminum. I'm a beginner welder, so I can only weld steel. So we did the frame of the box. The frame of the box is the skeleton. I call it the skeleton of the box is steel 1 by 1, 1 inch by 1 inch square tube. that we welded together, made a nice little cage, and then we glued the aluminum on the steel skeleton. Glued, and some of it we put some fasteners as well, depending. So only the doors, I made a little. The doors are entirely aluminum, and the frame is, the sheet is riveted to the door frame. Yeah, so that's why. And then for the flat deck, we decided to do a 2x2 square tube steel, welded together, and not very heavy because that truck has retired completely from all homestead work, such as the water hauling, plowing, firewood, and hunting. It used to be the only truck we had doing all those very hard chores, heavy duty chores before. Completely retired now. We have another truck for that, so we didn't need to have a heavy duty deck. And then now we use that truck only for touring, overlanding, whatever you want to call that. So it's just 2x2 steel with just enough that studs matching the connection of the former box. But I didn't want to, like we said, no need for heavy duty. It's just for touring. So this way, and the decking on the flat deck is aluminum as well. So actually quite light, because the entire thing, we can, two people can actually lift the entire thing. And that was one of my point too, is that every year I can remove the box and the flat deck off the truck in one piece and clean up the chassis properly or inspect everything. So it's easier said than done, but I only have, like the original box, I just have 8 bolts to remove the flat deck and the box from the chassis and to do the inspection to keep it in good shape. Okay.
Is it waterproof inside the canopy?
Yeah, it's rain tight completely. We never had any water coming in from rain. And see, there's like we put some door gasket there. I call it, I think, a bulb gasket or something bulb. And it's just like a regular truck door. And when we went in the water once up to here, twice actually, and very little water came in. I mean, if you stuck in that much water, eventually water comes in. But if you're fast enough, it's completely fine. But yeah, no, the rain doesn't come in now. We're not professionals, so it's hard to know how to make a door. Actually, the door is probably for me, there was the most challenging part of the project was to make a airtight and dust-tight door. And that was definitively the most challenging when you don't know what you're doing.
Why do you have a rack on the back, and what's on it?
We put a little bit stronger aluminum for the deck itself on the back, where we put the tools. Of course, where we live, we have a lot of trees, so every year after winter, when you use the trails before you make it to the Alpine, there's quite some trees fallen on the tracks. There's a lot of overhanging willows and stuff like that. So that's why for us it's quite important to have cutting tools ready without having to open the doors on the side. So that's why chainsaw and the axe have to be easily available, because it's very common that you have to cut your way through the forest. Shovel, of course, and traction boards comes handy, and we decided to have them inside here. Same, because when we use them in the past, when they get very muddy, that's not something you want to have inside the truck. It can be very disgusting. Propane for safety outside, and gas, of course, it's always something I wanted outside, so always ending up leaking a little bit or stinking your stuff inside the canopy. So that's why it was pretty handy also to have a little deck so you could put your jerry cans outside.
How did you build the bars for your rooftop tent and awning?
So we made the rack with 1x1 steel and directly welded to the skeleton of the canopy. So there's no bolts, no nothing. It's extremely strong. And that's what you need really for a heavy tent. It has 4 supports to the canopy on each side. So really dividing the tent, the weight of the tent by 8 supports.
What do you use to haul the dirt bike around?
So like I said earlier, a good point of not having any doors in the back is that you can put a lot of things in the back, including some bicycles or dirt bike. So that's what we built that to put the dirt bike in the back, or your mountain bikes or whatever. So we just did that with leftover steel from the canopy. And it's quite easy to use. There we go. Those chain tensioners that come here for extra strength. And there we go, put the dirt bike here. That's something so I can tie the dirt bike around or put the bikes. And I made it so, well, actually we did it once. So here I can also put my bike carrier. If we take the dirt bike and mountain bike, I can carry everything. Of course, it starts to stick out a lot. But that's what's, so we made that out of the leftover steel.
How did you build that snorkel?
That part is PVC, that's a water pump foot valve. And actually that part here is the original air intake of the air box that normally comes out here somewhere. I put it because it kind of look cool, and then it goes inside through the fenders, through a flexible pipe, and the flexible pipe is shop vac pipe. And it works. It works. I mean, we went up with water up to here. I don't go over that. It's kind of too much. I mean, it's a petrol, it's a gas vehicle. I don't dare to do much more than the hood, but we did, and it was okay. Don't worry, remember guys that in Toyota airbox there's a little drain plug at the bottom of the box that you better plug as well. So that's the snorkel. So we use the snorkel is not to go deep, but we went up to here, which is enough for me anyway.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope we answered all your questions. Like I said at the beginning, if you have more questions, leave them in the comments and we will answer them, or if there's enough, we'll make another video. Cheers! And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us a like, it really helps. Thanks so much. Bye! As you can see, or have seen in the video, it's snowing right now. In our part of the world, it's frowned upon to drive with your vehicle on the tracks that we use in the summer, because in the winter time, these tracks are shared between dog mushers, cross-country skiers, snowmobilers, and other recreational users. So we're waiting for there to be enough snow so that we can take you along on our snowmobile trips this winter. We can't wait. We've been working hard on preparing our snowmobiles. Can't wait to get out there